Hi Peter, today I'm gonna talk about rape culture. And firstly, my opinion about rape culture is that you cannot have an opinion about rape culture. Like, you cannot just come here, especially when you live in a society like Brazil, and say that it doesn't exist or it exists because the rape culture is a phenomenon just like sexism, chauvinism, racism, it just happens. It's like a social construction and it just happens every single day with the victims. The only person who believes that this phenomenon doesn't happen or doesn't exist are the oppressors. The oppressors are usually the percentage of the society that are rich, white, male, because 90% of the rapes happens with a male being the abuser, and 88% of the rapes happens with women, and 40% of those rapes happening with women are of women underage. And that's really worrying because it said a lot of our society when the men are seeing the figure of the man, the virility figure of the man are seen as superior. And these are bad for both ways because men and women stayed trapped in a society that they cannot be free. They cannot choose what they want to do. They cannot choose. They live in the pattern. They be trapped in this pattern, you know. And when I say pattern, I say like the pattern of women being seen as inferior and men being seen as superior. Like just like it happens in workforce, in the whole society as general, when men think they have power over the bodies and over the thing. And rape culture said a lot about power. It doesn't say like usually about the desire of the man with sexual desire, I'm thinking, and it says more like that men are superior and men has the have the and the men have the rights over the woman's body, and they can decide when to use it, how to use it, and the women doesn't have a choice because women are seen as objects and are seen as sexual objects, and function is to give pleasure, to the man, to accomplish all their wishes, um not just like the sexual wish, but like the whole wish, the wish of the women, the wish of the mother, is normal in our society, especially in Brazil, that the women take care of the man like she was her nanny or her mother, when I'm talking about like a relationship and everything. And in this kind of relationship, I'm talking about like a traditional relationship between a marriage of a woman and a man. And in Brazil, we call this the traditional Brazilian family. And they usually are Christian in Brazil because we are really Christian in Brazil. And this model shows like the man with the strong figure and everything, like the man who brings the money home, who works, who gives sweat for the family. And the woman is seen as the fragile one, the home mom, who do all the domestic work and everything, who cleans, who cooks, who take care of her kids, who watches her husband, and who are always grateful and thankful for all the things that her husband and her family provides to her. And this actually is a mask wears about the abuse, because actually this woman thinks about herself, has her individualities, but she's educated to hide all her characteristics because the man decides for her, and this is why a lot of women lives in fear, because when something happens like rape or sexual harassment or anything, we are educated to just let this go, to accept to accept, because the society is so corrupted, and it needs to stay this way, like the man in the power and the women being victims. It needs to stay this way. It needs to the man controlling women, and women thinking she needs to be controlled, like this whole analogic thing of the man being the hunter, and the women being the prey. Like the women are a savage creature that needs to be educated and calm, and the men are the strong and powerful and viral um, figure that are going to be this hunter. But this is really bad for the both sides, because it creates patterns, and create expectations about how they both genders need to act in the society. So men need to be virile, need to be strong, need to be powerful. And when a man is a little feminine, or just don't want to wear the things that society shows that he needs to wear, or don't want to do all the male things, like, I don't know, cheer for football and stuff, they are abused too. Like the society treats them bad, actually. They treat like them aren't man enough, aren't good enough. And it becomes a really sad personality, because it reprimes the personality. And men can't decide for themselves, because they are too worried to being this figure that are virile, that are strong, that are dangerous, that are the hunter and everything, and are some kind of man that doesn't want to be this way. But the society, like, it imposes that they need to be that way, otherwise they won't achieve success, in the workforce, or like in the whole society. They won't achieve success, they won't be respected. So if a man has like feminine behavior, just like to cleaning, like to cook, like to dance, stuff that usually women are told to do, they are really repressed by society, because society also is really homophobic, and they think that just because a man has feminine behavior, that also the society imposes the behavior that they need to have. So if a man slide up a little bit of the pattern, they are completely wrong, and they are homosexual, and this is really bad, because society hates homosexuality. And by this way, the men won't have respect in the society that they live. So sometimes they have to fit in these boxes of the patriarchy to just exist, to just survive in the society. And the same thing happens to women, because women, when they don't want to be mothers, they don't want to clean, they don't want to cook, they don't want to do the domestic work, they just are repressed by the society, and they are excluded. They aren't desired by men, they aren't considered desired by men, and everything. And they have like male behavior when they want to act, when they want to be present in the workforce. And this is a really bad, because women needs to be calm and domestic and everything. So it's bad for both ways. And this, just like this way, the woman needs to fit in the little box of the patriarchy, and they need to attend that the pattern. And this is really bad for the both sides, because they aren't possible to be free, never, because they have to fulfill their social duty. And this is really bad, because they didn't choose their duty, they just are imposes that the way is the right way, and is the only way that anything can happen and then be a little bit respected, and achieve success, and just survive in the whole society. So, in conclusion, I think that the whole rape culture phenomenon is really bad for the both sides. It makes women and men the victims. The only people who aren't the victims are the oppressors, and this is really sad for the society, because it traps the both genders inside the patriarchy boxes, and it just makes they suffer, it makes them trapped, and they aren't possible to be free, never, because it is like survival thing. You need to accept the way it is, otherwise you won't survive in the society that we live. And this is really sad, because how do we expect to grow as people living in a society this way? Like, this is why we need to fight. This is why we won't accept rape, won't accept sexual harassment, won't accept any other violent action with women, because it is really repressing, and it's really hard to live in a society this way. So that is my reflection. Hope you like it.